The moment I stepped off the plane in Kuwait, something in the air felt different. Not just the warmth of the desert breeze or the scent of oud lingering in the terminal, but something deeper, something intangible, yet undeniable. It was a kind of freedom, a release from the weight I had carried for so long without even realizing it. In America, I had always been aware of my place, not the one I had carved for myself through hard work and determination, but the one that had been assigned to me before I had spoken a single word. The cautious glances in boardrooms, the unspoken assumptions in conversations, the quiet but ever-present need to prove myself again and again, as if excellence alone was not enough, as if who I was had to be justified. But here, in this foreign land, I felt something I had never quite known before: acceptance without condition. In America, my skin color had often been the first thing people saw, the first thing they calculated before deciding how to treat me. But in places like Baghdad, Amman, and now Kuwait, the weight of racial prejudice simply did not exist in the same way. Here, I was met with curiosity, with respect, and sometimes even reverence. I wasn't a black man in America. I was simply a man, an accomplished professional, a guest to be honored, a leader to be heard. Walking through Kuwait City that first evening, I noticed the way people looked at me, not with the hesitant politeness of those who had been taught to tolerate, nor with the underlying suspicion that had followed me through American airports and office buildings. No, here, the looks were different. I saw genuine respect in the eyes of the young Kuwaiti banker who welcomed me at the hotel. I heard sincere curiosity in the questions of the driver who asked me about my journey. I felt acknowledgement, a recognition of my achievements, not in spite of who I was, but simply because I was someone worth recognizing. The realization hit me like a deep exhale, a breath I hadn't even known I was holding. This is what it feels like to be free. Not just free in the legal sense, not just free on paper, but free in the air itself. Free from the constant second guessing, from the exhausting awareness of being measured, categorized, and boxed in. In America, I had grown used to a world where opportunity came with an asterisk, where success for someone like me was always treated as an exception rather than the expectation. I had learned to navigate spaces that had been built without me in mind, to thrive in systems that had never truly welcomed me, and I had done it. I had beaten the odds. But why should there be odds to beat at all? Standing in the heart of Kuwait, watching the city lights reflect off the Persian Gulf, I let go of something I hadn't even known I had been carrying: the quiet but relentless need to prove myself worthy. I was not simply tolerated here, I was valued. And for the first time in my life, I understood just how much of a burden tolerance had been. America had always tried to define me before I could define myself. Whether it was the media's portrayal of black men, the lowered expectations in academic circles, or the assumptions made the moment I walked into a room, I had spent a lifetime pushing against the currents of stereotype. But here, that current did not exist. I wasn't bound by history's chains, nor was I forced to carry the weight of a nation's unresolved sins. Instead, I was free to simply be, not a representative of a struggle, not a rebuttal to a stereotype, but just a man standing in his own power. And that realization brought with it a deep, soul-level relief, as if I had finally stepped into the full breadth of who I was meant to be. As I settled into my new role at the National Bank of Kuwait, I did so with the quiet confidence of a man who knew his worth, not because he had fought to prove it, but because it was never in question to begin with.